Welcome back to Not So Obvious Watches. I'm Pete McConville. Short video today. It's going to end in a question and hopefully be the beginnings of a dialogue between me and you, my dear viewers. My question is, just how much do you value an in-house movement? Does it have a fixed value over and above an ETA or Sellita, or does it somehow scale endlessly so that there's a fixed value beyond which an ETA or Sellita cannot go, but there is no ceiling on how much you can charge for an in-house movement as long as it has those magic words in-house? Where have I come from before we go on? Okay, so Adrian over at Bark & Jack did a review recently, or more a reversal of his position on the Bell & Ross BR05. He went from really not liking it to kind of liking it, but really disliking the price. Essentially saying that a $5,000, $6,000 US dollar watch with a Sellita movement can't really be justified, and that if you go to the gold model, which is 20 something dollars, it's only a few $1,000s less than the equivalent Rolex would be, and that just can't be justified. And that got me thinking, because you see, what I found myself thinking is, you know, the price difference in those movements, the price difference between the Sellita and the Rolex is probably around $500 to $700. If you go look on the net, go look up some prices for just what it would cost to buy a Sellita, you know, a top grade Sellita SW300. It's $250 to $300. If you're Bell & Ross, you'll get that at a substantial discount, but then you've got to modify it and decorate it and put it in your system and do all sorts of stuff. So that'll probably add another couple of $100. So I'm going to say by the time Bell & Ross get down to pricing their watch, that movement, that's SW300 modified by them and then ready for installation, probably costs them about $300. If you look at the price of a Datejust, a brand new Rolex Datejust with the brand new movement in it, that'll set you back maybe $6,000 US bucks. If you think that Rolex has got at least 100% markup on that watch cost Rolex maybe $3,000 US, and then you know that Rolex spends between 20 and 40% of its turnover on marketing, so that means about 1,000 of that 3,000 bucks went to painting rocks green at a Formula One race or paying Tiger Woods, which means the watch cost 2,000 bucks to make. Let's be really hard, let's be really conservative and say of the $2,000 that watch make, $1,000 of it went to the movement, and the other $1,000 made the case, the hands, the sapphire, the watchmaker who had assembled it all. It paid Hans in IT and paid Sophie in HR, and it paid Andreas in accounting, and paid everything else that Rolex has to do. So everything else and every other part of the watch was only half of it, and then just the movement was the other half. That means that movement cost Rolex about $1,000 US. So therefore we know that the price difference between the Bell & Ross's SW300 and the Rolex Datejust was about $700. And yet we're told that the Bell & Ross really shouldn't cost $6,000, certainly can't be justified going as high as 20 something, 30 something if it's in a gold case. And yet for that extra $700, Rolex gets the ability to take that watch and put it in a pretty straightforward garden variety Datejust at $6,000, can go stick it in a $9,000 Submariner, a $12,000 Sea Dweller, a $100,000, $200,000 Pearl Master, but it's still just a $1,000 movement. So what's going on? I think it's the magic of in-house. People are just saying, if you go in-house, then the sky's the limit. You can charge whatever you want. We don't care about the money. And I suppose that's where I depart from Adrian. I would say that if I've got a watch with a $300 movement and I've got another watch with $1,000 movement, if all else is equal, if the standard of the case design and the standard of the case build is equal between the two, say, then I would expect the final price difference to be $700. I don't expect the price of the movement to scale in relationship to some nebulous in-house factor. And yet that is exactly what Adrian and Bill Sanders over at Watch Art say, and pretty much the vast bulk of the rest of the community. Everyone who ever said, nice watch, but I'd never pay that for a Sellita, seems to have that same idea in their mind. That somehow the cost of a Sellita or the cost of an ETA is fixed and somehow puts a cap on how much a watch with that can cost. But the price of a Rolex movement or any other, I'm picking on Rolex, but really any other in-house movement is infinitely scalable. And it does in fact scale with the price of a watch. So that as soon as I go in-house, all bets are off and I can charge whatever I want for it. And I don't understand that. So what I'm after is from you. Am I understanding this correctly? Is there something I'm missing? And if I'm not missing it, then what the hell are other people thinking? Why are they prepared to spend whatever someone will charge as long as they made the movement? But if they bought the movement from someone else, there's some sort of ceiling on how much the total watch package can cost, regardless of the rest of the watch. I don't get it. I'm after your help. So please leave comments below and set me straight or agree with me or whatever. I'm really curious to see where this goes. I've been Pete McConville. This has been Not So Obvious Watches and a question. So over to you.